You are. Look at that, Michael. We are on YouTube and everything's live.
Everything's live, buddy.
I guess we should start. We're so out of practice.
I know it's been a month.
How does this work?
We'll be on in. Hey, this is Wicked Spursy. Mike, Steve, and Dave, season 4, episode 1. We're back. We were just trying to remember how to do this.
Yeah.
We are Michael Jordan in 1995. We are back. Steven, how are you, buddy? It's been a little while. What's going on?
It has been a little while. It has. All things considered, it's been a pretty solid time. Summer halfway through it. We've lots of stuff that we could talk about. We could spend an entire hour talking about all the fun little activities that we've done and different trips that we went to. But I think I'm going to start us off by being a little bit serious for a moment. For our longtime listeners, obviously, you should know that all of us are based in Vermont, different parts of Vermont. And what you might not know is this past week, Vermont's been rocked by some really bad flooding. We had some torrential downpours that's just overflowed waterways, completely flooded different cities, towns across the state. Our state capital actually closed because the entire capital was just underwater, all of it. It's been devastating. Businesses are going to be closed for the foreseeable future. Some of them lost entire operations due to the flooding. It's been really bad. And fortunately, none of us have been personally impacted by it, but Vermont's a small state. In some capacity, we all know somebody or some group, some organization that's been hit hard by this. So, I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention right off the bats. Just get it out of the way so that we can proceed onto some fun stuff. If there is anybody out there who is interested in helping out, there is a nonprofit organization, the Vermont Disaster Recovery Fund. You can find them at vdrf.org. They are accepting donations to help out with any of the flood victims, businesses impacted, all sorts of things like that. I guess that's probably where I'm going to leave it. Again, vdrf.org. If you want to help out, I'm sure it would mean a lot to a great deal of people across the states.
Steve, good shot, man. Appreciate you doing that. We'll make sure that we get that link in the old episode notes for our longtime listeners, but that's good. I got to ask though, how have you been otherwise? I know the little man had a birthday party a little while back. I'm hoping that was an enjoyable opportunity. How'd that go?
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. It's just I continue to be amazed by how much he learns and grows. He had his 3-year checkup just this week, and aside from telling the doctor where he goes to school, he answered all his own questions. I mean, he was able to and that to me is just incredible, right? Like, here's this little guy who can have a conversation with another adult that isn't me, or my wife, and just it impressed me. I'm just completely in awe of how much he's grown in such a little time.
It's fun. Trust me, it goes quick, but you've already heard that enough.
Yeah.
Speaking of going quick, hey Mike, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, Dave.
Sorry, man. I teed myself up for that one. Hey, that kit you've got on it, UTFG on the front?
Yeah. Dude,
where do I get that? That is lovely.
That's last year's Green Mountain Bahoys. Yeah, we're the Bahoys after, I think we talked about it after Celtic.
I need you to help me. I need you to help me track that kit down. That's
so it's last year's. I don't know if we can still get them. I think it was like a one-off, but we do have new ones coming out. Actually, these weren't actually supposed to come out because our supporters group is much more respectful than Up the Fucking Green.
I know, that's why I want one. That's If
anybody, so they weren't supposed to come out. They weren't supposed to come out. The guy printed the wrong template. that we were fiddling around with it online. He printed the wrong ones. We were supposed to print our Vivid Coffee, which is our sponsor.
Yeah.
But
I can't help
he
but
offered
feel,
like discounts on this kit, or he offered discounts on the actual regular kit, and then gave us like 50% off any future kits. And I was like, I don't want any discounts or anything. I'll pay full price for the kit. But if you're not going to do anything with the UTFG kits, you can just send me that one too. And I don't need any discounts, and I'll pay you for the kit full price.
Nice.
But it's from all over New York. They make really good stuff. You can go on there and design your own kits and that kind of stuff. It's really cool.
See, that tells me there have to be a few others laying around that nobody's willing to buy.
Mike, I can't help but feel like you didn't understand Dave. He's not asking.
He's telling.
Yeah, I'm suggesting.
Jesus Christ.
Mike, I'd also like to know. I'd like to know how you're doing, man. What's going on?
We're 9 minutes into this and you're already shit housing.
Dude, this is what we do. This is what sets us apart from all other football pods, and especially all Spurs pods.
Well, yeah, I know. Nobody's talking about getting fingered yet or any of that stuff.
Yet.
So yeah.
There'll be no shagging your mom conversations. That's
right,
not
right,
us.
right.
We don't go that far, but yeah.
Well, we just did, but sometimes you got to unwrap that present and see what's inside, No, everything's been great. The boy has been the boy one has just been offered a chance to play 2 levels up from where he's currently at another club. He's been getting scouted for a couple of years, apparently. I talked to the coach yesterday. And to my amazement, he said that the tryout, he gave Lucas a couple of pretty complicated pointers, a couple complicated things to do. And he said that he's never seen a kid this age pick it up and pick up that pointer and employ it as quickly as he did. Lucas, he did say Lucas still has some things to work on, controlling his speed, using his left foot, that kind of stuff. But he said that Lucas would be at a kid who just barely turned 11 years old. He just said he's too good to play at U12 level. So for me, that's a proud parent move, moment. But at the same time, I have to kind of temper expectations and that kind of stuff. And I'd like to brag about my kid, as we all do. And Stevie will be there someday. My kid happens to be athletic. Dave's kid happens to be really smart. And Isaac is going to be a smart ass like his dad, probably.
That's fair. So what I'm getting from this conversation is we have already uncovered the next Harry Kane.
We might have, man. At least hopefully like the next Nacho Larrache, Nacho's going back to Portugal. He just got signed today to a third-tier Portuguese team. So
nice. Good for him.
Yeah. But that's the Vermont Green. We have another club to talk about, don't we?
Got a big club to talk about, right?
Yeah,
big club with big things happening. Oh, wait, hold on. Another offer just came in from Bayern, also undervalued. So we'll just keep going with what we're talking about because it doesn't matter.
That makes sense.
Let's talk about the Tottenham Hotspur. What do you say?
Yeah, man.
First, so I got to tell you guys this. Really, really fortunate, really thankful. So my wife and I, in a few weeks, will have been married 25 years. Woo. We're leaving on Thursday. I know 25. I don't look old enough to be married that long, do I?
No, you're definitely handsome and young.
Yeah, look like a 27-year-old young fella. But anyway, we're going on a cruise to Bermuda, which we are jacked about. And I already was calculating in my mind which Spurs kit am I going to wear in that environment? Because what I found is when you are in an environment where there are people coming from international locations, wearing a Spurs kit just sorts everything out. Like you can tell where the Jagoff Gooner fans are. You can tell who the loyal fellow Spurs supporters are. And then some douchebag in a Liverpool kit, comes walking by as well. So,
and they usually say, sorry.
They do. Well, now I can say that back to them. But yes, I decided I'm gonna go with the Galaxy kit. I think the Galaxy kit goes a long way and is a uniter, not a divider. And I'll let you guys know how that goes in terms of.
What are you wearing tonight? Is it the purple checkered one?
This is the old purple checkered one. Yeah,
I like that one.
Underrated, and it kind of hides in my closet a little bit and doesn't come out every.
I've got two.
That's right. You got sent one in
The mystery kit,
box.
yeah. Real
Very
real
nice.
fucking
So you're
mystery.
meeting with Levy. That's why you're there.
Precisely.
Don
Yeah.
Levy. Gonna give him some instructions.
So Stevie boy, why don't you get us started, man? What's been going on in Spurs world and what's got your attention?
Big Ange. I mean, I have been so hyped for this coach. Literally everything, every interview, every bit of commentary that I see from journalists and it's just all positive stuff. I mean, Dave, I think it was you who probably called out. It's not just that we have a good coach, we have a good person.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've got somebody that win or lose.
He's not a dick. He's not
Yeah.
a dick, right? We've had a lot
Yeah.
of dick coaches come through.
That we have. He seems like the type of guy who understands what accountability is first and foremost. He's made comments in the past like, the players are out there, playing the game, but he's the guy who's picking the tactics, he's picking the team. At the end of the day, he's responsible for the results, win or lose. He's tried to temper expectations, tried to, it's going to take some time. We're going to need to get used to how I do things. Everybody's got to buy into it. But it just seems like there's this air of positivity going around the club that frankly I've missed. For long stretches of last season under the Conte collapse and everything that came from that, it just felt really negative, really down, like, there was never going to be any sunshine again. And here we have our Aussie coach coming and bringing that sunshine for us. I'm honestly looking forward to these preseason games coming up, just so I can get a better understanding of what he actually wants from the team, what he's going to try, how he's going to line people up, what players he's going to give a look to. I saw the preseason roster came out, and, it's mostly first team, only, a couple of academy guys, but, there's still some players out there who have the opportunity to impress, even after, maybe disappointing loan spells last season, or just being completely disappointing every time they've played for Spurs. And I'm curious to see, who's he going to give a chance to, who's going to get their opportunity to be a Ange player, and who's going to end up out the door. So I've got a lot of excitement on this, and I'm really jazzed. I'm pumped. I'm really looking forward to this particular dynasty that we're going to be building.
Listen to that. Steve just claimed it. It's funny, Steve, we've talked about this before. Part of the joy of sports is the feeling of optimism, right? Like that unbridled, like something good is going to happen. And when I think back to a year ago, we all entered last season with high expectations. And I would say even the preseason started, like we saw Conte like running guys into the ground. We're like, oh, he's whipping them into shape, all that stuff. But I think we always had like in the back of our minds that dark, yeah, but here's how Conte rolls and here's how it goes bad. And there's always the yeah, but, right? I don't feel any yeah buts at the moment. Doesn't mean they're not there, but I don't feel any yeah buts at the moment. And that's an exciting place, and it makes it fun. Mike, Absolutely. What do you think about
that? Yeah, like Steve brought up the thesaurus today, right? He's pumped, he's jazzed, he's buzzing, he's excited,
hyped.
Jazzed.
Yeah, his thesaurus game is strong, right? All of those words describe how I feel right now. I cannot wait for even the first like preseason match. We know the guys just got on the plane. We know that we know the roster for the tour. We have returning loanees out there. So we have returning players from last season out there. We have players that we don't know are going to fit into the system or how they're going to fit into the system. We have players that had fallen out of favor. We have players that have fallen out of favor with the fan base. Mm-hmm. So, or players that we didn't remember were still on the team. Guys like Lo Celso, guys like Jed Spence, guys that we haven't seen yet, Destiny Udoji. So, I mean, things are looking up, man. We also have a new baby face too, James Madison. And not one of the he's not one of the founding fathers, but he is going to be an amazing addition to that midfield. We haven't had somebody who can take free kicks. We haven't had somebody who's been creative in the middle. We haven't had a playmaker, a goal scorer, in a long time. And since we had Christian Eriksen, since we had a number 10 and a guy like Dele Alli, and we can get into that later. Guys like that are exciting and fun to watch and are going to be a real asset on my Saturday or Sunday morning DraftKings teams. Mason Mount and James Madison were always good for a lot of points in my DraftKings league. So I'm really excited to see what happens. I'm really excited to see what Ange does with a lot of these Antonio Conte, Jose Mourinho cast-offs. So we can get to my screen name, which is What's the Frequency, Tanguy. We can get to that today. We can get to it right now. And because Steve and I have had a philosophical difference on this, not really philosophical difference, just a difference in opinion. I'm
like King Kong versus Godzilla about to go down. Let's do it.
King Kong maybe versus, like, I don't know,
Mothra maybe.
Rayman. I don't know if you've ever played the Rayman video game. That's kind of Steve.
Did you say Rain Man or Rain?
Not
Rayman.
Rayman.
King Kong versus Rain Man.
Or Rain Man. He's definitely the Dustin Hoffman and not the Tom Cruise character. So
definitely.
Yeah,
Dustin Hoffman, definitely.
Kmart sucks. Anyway, yes, I think that Tanguy Ndombele is likely to get another chance on this club. I think he might actually fit into Ange's system pretty well. He didn't fit into any of those other systems. He's been labeled lazy. He's been labeled a disruptor. We've seen him at some of his brilliant best, and we've seen him at his lowest lows. I know a lot of people want him the fuck out of the club. I wanted him the fuck out of the club. I think that he can offer something different and not necessarily, it doesn't mean that he's going to get a lot of minutes, a lot of playing time, but he can offer something different in a squad player type role, sitting behind a creative player like Madison. My problem with Tanguy is the attitude, and is the lack of minutes going to cause an issue again? Maybe
the body language, right? Which are
the body language,
reflection.
right? Yeah, no, body language is always an issue. And I think that coaches that beat you down and treat you like shit, as we know that Mourinho did, as we know that Conte did, we just found out that Conte did, right? I don't think those coaches understand what footballers are like and what this newer generation of athletes are like. These newer generation of athletes are coming out and admitting mental issues with their mental health, not just in the game, but even outside of the game, right? And how that affects their lives and how it affects their product on the field. So I mean, you never know what Tanguy's going through, but I think there is a brilliant player in there, and I am willing to give him another chance if he's an asshole one more fucking time. Sorry, dude, you're gone. But I'm willing to give him another chance if Ange wants him around. But I think what I'm really most looking forward to is I'm looking forward to seeing how our right and left backs line up. And is it a redemption arc for Serge or for Reggie?
For Serge.
Serge Aurier is coming back. He's coming back.
Goodness.
No, is it a redemption arc for Seed?
We signed Danny Rose today. Did you guys hear that?
We got in the DeLorean and went back to 2014.
There you go. Kyle Walker, what?
Number 2, Trippier. So no, what kind of redemption arc is Reggie gonna have? Are these players that are coming back from loan going on this trip just as showpieces for another loan or for a sale? We don't know. We know Harry Kane's a known quantity. Harry Kane has been reported by some in the know about saying he will be gone in 2 to 3
air
weeks.
quotes for our listeners and who
Yeah,
aren't viewing.
in the know.
Right?
In the know is not real. ITK is not real. But
Unless it comes from me
or the hamster of doom. So there's a lot of things going on right now. We don't know what Ange's system is going to look like. All the videos that are coming out of training sessions and that kind of stuff are 57 dudes on bikes. Guys playing a little 3v3. Guys doing the defensive breakdown drills, that kind of stuff. And Tanguy Ndombele's already been dug out for his body language while he's fucking walking through that one picture, walking into the place.
Yeah, getting out of the car,
getting out of his car. It could not have been even close to anything resembling a guy who just woke up first thing in the fucking morning, hasn't had his fucking full coffee yet, going into work. You should see what the hell I look like when I go into work.
Though Tang, he's his own worst enemy, though. Like that guy needs a publicist and like just a PR coach more than anybody else in the world does. It's like just somebody needs to talk to that kid about how to.
If Emerson can afford $1 million to hire a coach to get him to where he needs to be, Tanguy can afford $1 million to hire a French chef to make him feel like he's at home, so he doesn't have to eat the British food.
That's what you're blaming this on, the British food?
It's the British food. It creates all kinds of animosity toward the British people and the British style of soccer.
Beans on toast, just not cutting it for Mike.
It's the Australia.
It's the fries.
It's the Australian style of soccer now. So all bets are out the fucking window.
If you say so.
You heard it here
that's
first.
what I've got to say about Spurs. I don't know if I touched on any subjects that anybody wanted to hear, but at this point, I don't care.
I'm gonna let's talk Harry Kane for a few.
Just
couple observations.
Rebut the Ndombele thing. You're gonna.
Sorry. I'll let you.
Because he feels
Steve,
very
I
strongly.
didn't know you were loaded up, man. Yeah,
he's very strongly.
Yes, I am. You see,
just don't let me forget to go to Harry Kane if that's okay. But Steve,
how could we forget Harry Kane? Bayern certainly haven't.
Oops, another offer.
There it is.
Oh, it's 69 million this time.
Oh, 69 million
yen.
Getting closer.
69 million yen.
Pesos.
No, so for me, Ndombele, he's run out of opportunities the second that he slow walked his way off the pitch when we desperately needed a goal in that cup competition. For me, there is no redemption. I honestly do not think he has the character to suit Ange's system. Whether or not he has the skill and the capacity to do so as a professional is a completely different story. We all know what he can do. We all know what he's capable of when he is on his game, when he is feeling, energized and eager to get out there. But I just, from a character perspective, from his personality, he comes across, and again, I really hope that I'm wrong. I would love to be proven wrong, but he does come across as somebody who's a selfish player. He, if he doesn't get the exact right set of conditions, he's just not going to do what he needs to do. And for me, that is, antithetical to what Ange is putting together in a team and a squad. I don't blame anybody for bringing him on the tour, because I think, there are certainly players who are going to be given game time as a, here's our shop window, come and get him. And I think, in my opinion, Ndombele falls into that category. I don't think he has the character to be a Ange type player. And I think that the Spurs squad as a whole would be better without him on the books. That is my position. And again, I hope I'm wrong. I would love for Ndandale to really show a level of enthusiasm we have yet to see from him, to come into the squad and to push the team into a highly competitive machine in the Premier League. But so far, I've not seen anything from him that would indicate he has that in him as a person to accomplish. So for me, put him in the shop window, let people see, what he might be able to do. Hopefully that doesn't backfire, and get him out the door.
Can I like steal host for a second here, Dave?
Well, Mike, your name was mentioned, so you do have the right to rebuttal. So you have 30 seconds.
Well, remember,
I told you today I'm sick of politics.
Wait, you wanted to steal host? You want to be? I'll let you be host the rest of this. I'll give you the rest of this
podcast too. You don't get an invite back.
Let me just say random crazy stuff the rest of the pod. You could be host. You want to do it?
No. Tyler steals host for me all the time on United and Green. I don't feel like I want to steal it from you. I just want to. I don't want to actually take host for. I want to borrow it for a second because
what if I handed you the mantle? If I said, Mike, you are the host for the rest of this pod, would you accept it?
It'd be tough because the
United and Green no.
The United and Green is very different to Wicked Spursy.
You see that, Dave? He wants,
and I'm not going to say in which way. So, anywho,
he won't take it, Steve. I'm trying to give it to him. He won't take it.
All I want is to ask one question of Steve. And it's got nothing to do with this argument that we're having, but
this argument
because we have been having an ongoing discussion about this.
Fair.
Every time I mention the guy's name, Steve throws up in his mouth and then sends that throw up
through WhatsApp
directly to me through WhatsApp.
If you're curious who's been leaving you the flaming bags of shit at your doorstep,
it's not your local legislator. It's Steve.
God damn it! I thought it was my fuck Biden flag neighbor. It wasn't.
Well, that could be it too.
Let's go, Brandon. Let's go. Where are we going?
So the question is for Steve and Dave. You can answer this too because I think it's a valid question. Who of our returning loanees would you do you think would help the squad the most? Not the guy who you want most to see back here, but would help the squad the most.
That's an interesting question. And I think I'm going to list somebody who I'm sure fans will immediately say, well, he just lost all his credibility. What's he thinking? That's the worst pick he could have made.
Lamella is not coming back.
I'm going to say Sergio Reguilon as my option for two reasons. First, I can't think of a single positive performance that I have seen on that left-handed side last season that makes me think he could do any worse than Perisic Sessegnon's injured now, so I guess he doesn't really get a lookout. And honestly, Ben Davies being a starting left back just doesn't sit well with me in that Ange system. I love Davies. I think he's an excellent squad player, somebody we should keep around. But to me, that's not where I want him, right? I don't want him to be the first choice. Honestly, if he's the second
doesn't have
choice,
the speed.
even that's questionable, right? For me, Reguilon, we know he's deficient. We know what his problem areas are. There's no doubting that. He's had his injury problems over his load season. He really didn't get the opportunity to develop much. I get that. I understand it. But for me, he has the drive and motivation to at least try and do what Ange wants. Whether he's successful is a completely different story. He could fall flat on his ass and just never see the light of day. But I think of all the returning loanees, he's the one who I think would best jump onto what Ange is dishing out and try to run with it. The second reason why I would like him best out of all of our returning loanees is his, again, character. I think he has this infectious personality, this very positive mindset about him. That is exactly the type of mindset that you want in that locker room. You want somebody who is going to be uplifting and positive and pushing people to do their best. And for me, that's him. That, you know, I saw some of the Instagram content today, maybe it was yesterday, where he was you know, talking shit with Romero on Instagram, and it was just, you know, two guys, you know, laughing together, you know, kind of picking on each other, yeah, having a good time. Like, that's the sort of like positive relationship that I'd love to see in the locker room. I think he's got that as a character. Again, I'm not saying he's going to come in there, claim number one, and be the most successful left back. I think Destiny's the guy who is going to be the most impressive in that position for us. But of all of our loan players, I think he's the one that likely will have the best impression on Ange. It might not translate into keeping him on the squad. He might get loaned out or sold, but I would personally not be mad if we kept him.
All right, so I've got a reaction and no, a rebuttal and a reaction. How's that sound?
Go ahead.
First,
tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm crazy.
No, I don't want to tell you you're wrong, because I'd love for everything you just said to be true. I really would. Well, so first I want to point out that Destiny and Jed were both loanees as well, and I have really high hopes and expectations for those guys. Like, that's a beautiful opportunity just waiting to happen. I really liked Sergio when he was with us. I liked he was fully coys. I really liked his infectious kind of positive vibe, like you described, Steve. Definite deficiencies, right? Like, not the most amazing defender, not the most amazing offensive player in the final third, but really good in that middle third, like using his speed and kind of pushing the ball up the pitch. I feel like he got kind of broken at the end of his time with us. And if I recall correctly, his tenure even away on loan was kind of marred by injury and illness. Like, he just had a really rough go. And unfortunately, in my gut, I feel like he just may be too battered. It may take time. He's either done, or it may take time for him to refine, you know, who he once was. I really, really hope he does, though. Like, that'd be amazing. Dark horse I'm going to throw at you. Again, this is a guy that we've forgotten is even a part of the club, unless you guys tell me that he's been sold and I didn't know about it. Joe Rodon. I always liked Joe Rodon, and I felt like he was another one of the guys that because of the managers, because of the circumstances, just could never get a shot. And it's my hope that he can come in an Ange system and not necessarily be a starter as a center back, but be a really solid role player off the bench. And, you know, instead of having to bring Sanchez on and have us all go, sounds like he's headed to Russia potentially, according to ITK, which is not true, but maybe Russia. I'd love to see Rodon thrive and do something good. Mike, what do you think on our responses to your question?
So
he's going to tell us we're both wrong.
Did he get sold? Please don't tell me he got sold. Like, while I was talking.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Joe Rodon, no, but now we have 69.3 million yen, and for Harry Kane,
nice,
just dropped now.
0.3, the extra 0.3.
Fabrizio Romano says that Here We Go is put on hold for now.
Nice.
Hamster of Doom is reporting Tottenham to decline offer.
Shock.
So
next one's coming in rubles.
That's right.
So I agree with Steve 100%. I think, and I'll explain why. And Dave, I disagree with you. Joe Rodon. So when we had a choice between Joe Rodon, Kim and Jay, we chose Joe Rodon because he was the cheaper option. And that's
also, did he count as homegrown or did he not count as homegrown?
He did not.
He does,
okay, got it.
No. Joe Rodon is a guy who went out on loan and still couldn't get into the team. Actually, often he was left off the team sheet completely, not even as a substitute.
True. Same with Tanguy, though.
Yeah, but
Tanguy
came in after a stretch and learned the system and played well for Napoli, right? So I don't agree with Joe Rodon. I don't think he's a guy who can come in and fit into the system. and here's kind of why, and it will kind of validate Steve's reasoning. We don't have left backs. We don't have left backs. Destiny is not a fucking left back. Destiny's a wing back. Destiny would be more suited in Ange's system to be a forward, a winger in my estimation. He's young enough, like I've said before, he's young enough, smart enough player to be molded into, just same with Jed, to be molded into a forward or a left back, right back, if in Jed's case. But Ben Davies leaves a bad taste in my mouth playing a left-sided fullback in Ange's system. I can't have Ben Davies there, and the only true left back we have in our system is Sergio Reguilon. Sergio Reguilon has the ability, because of the way Ange plays, he pushes defensive players, center backs mostly, but your left and right backs get into the attack. Your entire defensive back line gets into the attack, and Sergio Reguilon has the speed and the ability to get back and defend. We've seen him be a good defender. We've seen him try and change his game and be relatively successul at times. Change his game to become a wing back. At the end of Conte's first season with us, first piece of a season. So I think Sergio Reguilon is the only guy that we really have that has the speed and has the ability to defend and play in a back four in Ange's system, just because of the way that they all push forward, and everybody gets involved in the attack in Ange's system. We're gonna get conceded a lot of goals, and it's gonna be blamed on guys like Sergio Reguilon.
All right, Mikey. All right.
I blame it on Eric Dyer personally.
So, boom, great segue, Mike. I have two questions for you. Right, two questions. The first one is easy, and the second one is fun. Here's the easy question. I'm going to name 3 center backs. You get to pick one to keep. You ready?
Oof. Okay.
Jaffet, Dyer, Roden.
Jaffet Tanganga.
Okay. Steve, how about you?
Roden.
And I say Roden too, so Roden wins. Congratulations. we were right. Mike, I have another question for you.
I feel like while I was going on my rant, Dave texted Steve and was like,
"No,
hey, just say Roden when I ask a question."
Absolutely not. I would admit that if I did.
It's fine. Yeah, I totally meant that.
Steve. Mike, I have another question for you.
Yeah.
And this is a special question that I have been looking forward to asking.
Oh, really?
Yep. I'd love to know. I'd love to know
you
one
cannot
thing.
dance with my dates.
Very good. I'd love to know one other thing. Hey, Mike, what you drinking?
Oh, I've missed that.
Haven't you?
Oh, I've missed it. I've had a lot of drinks since our last episode. I had a fun last episode, but now that we're in season 4,
episode 1.
Holy shit! I was going to question your methodology, but I like where you're at.
You don't question Dave.
Yeah, we were on a break, right? We were on a break.
No.
We reconvened.
Yeah,
season 4, episode 1.
Season 4, episode 1. So with that in mind, I love when you ask that question. Are you ready, Steve?
I was born ready.
No. I mean, are you ready, Steve?
Wait, have you guys been working on a little something here?
No,
you guys surprise me. You got something special?
I'm just asking. Well, because my
now
beer.
I'm not ready anymore.
You're not? Are you sure?
Okay, maybe I am.
Are you ready, Steve?
Yes.
What is this shenanigans you're showing us here? What is this?
We might have waited a little longer to do this, but I complained and bitched at Dave because I saw this beer and I was like, I have to fucking get it. Just because of the name. Are you ready, Steve?
I'm ready.
This comes from Single Cut Brewing, Single Cut Beersmith in Astoria, New York.
Beersmith.
Yeah, I love single cut beers. I haven't had one. There was one that they made. I can't remember what it was. It was a sour, I think. It was a fucking terrible beer, and I haven't had one since. But I used to love their beers.
But I love.
I used to love their
beers.
Well, they're like out of like Clifton Park, like Astor.
Yeah,
They're out of Astoria,
Albany area, right?
Albany area, right?
Yeah,
Troy.
It's where Nikki Winks is from.
The armpit of America, Troy, New York.
Gateway to Albany.
Here I go. I'm already getting on Troy, New York. So there goes that fan base.
You just offended that whole brewery and everybody that works there. But aside from that, Mike, tell us.
No, I used to love their brewing.
Beer.
So anyway, yeah. This is called Are You Ready, Steve? It's a single India Pale Ale. It's a 7%, and it is 1 pint with a cool label, like two cool 80s, like label.
Very nice.
So
Retro.
it is retro. It kind of looks like Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, or I was thinking like you can't do that on television, something like that, right?
Alanis Morissette.
You like that? Good reference.
Yeah.
Steve might have been a little before your time. I don't know if that was still on when you were.
Steve doesn't know about locker jokes.
Don't worry about it. I'm sure it'll be on Stranger Things at some
or
point.
the introduction to the opposites.
Or Park Burgers.
That was good, Steve. That was very good.
I'm trying not to listen to him.
That's honestly, that's good life advice.
Okay, folks. So single IPA.
A sipper.
Oh God, it's overflowing.
The head is biscuity. No, it's not biscuity. It's like a fucking marshmallow.
Oh, marshmallow head. That's a new one. 2.5 finger marshmallow head.
It looks like a 2-finger. It looks great. It's kind of clearish. It kind of has the look of it's golden. It's kind of clear. It's not one of those big, probably juicy, hoppy IPAs. It's probably going to be understated. So having my fancy treehouse glass because I've been drinking treehouse Julius. I just went down there when we went down for the Vermont Green game in Western Mass, which was a delight. But let's get into this. I'm not going to delay any further. Also because I have to leave soon, but
get on it. What do we got? Talk us through it. The world is dying to know.
This beer has a lot going on. Holy shit. For a clear beer. It's not a super hot bomb. It's not super juicy. But it is a really good single IPA. It gives you that bitterness of the hops that you want without overwhelming you. It gives you a little bit of I taste kind of some orange peel in there, a little bit of citrus notes, some orange peel, maybe some lime at the back end. It smells delicious. And it has maybe a little bit of pininess in there. I really like this beer. And if you want, Steve, I will find more for you and give you a couple at the Wicked Spursy Barbecue that's coming up. Plug.
Remember, keep it in the VIP fridge.
VIP fridge, correct. This beer for me.
Hold on, don't rate it yet. Hold on, I gotta get my figure in.
Okay, but this beer for me does a little bit of everything. It's not 9.2% alcohol, so it is drinkable. It's fizzy. It doesn't have that like thickness. Sometimes you get in those double IPAs that are unfiltered, juicy hop bombs. It's a drinkable IPA, and Single Cut has hit the nail on the head here. Now, for the first beer of this season, are you ready, Steve?
I'm ready.
We're ready.
Okay. 3.8.
Oh, so close.
Wow, you went big.
So
went big.
close.
Went big. Steve said 3.7. I went 3-4. I didn't think you'd go that big out of the gate. You know what I mean, Mike? I thought
I like it, man.
I thought you'd be calibrating, trying to set the standard for the season. But hey,
I think it. I think it is a calibration. I mean,
all right.
it's that good of a beer. I mean, it's not in the top beers that I've had. You have to go top beers that I've had have to go over 4. Worst beers that I've had have to be under 3. This beer, it comes in and it tops out at a high 3, and it's drinkable. It's kind of fun to look at the can, right? It's kind of a fun beer. It's got a lot of different tastes going on, and I'm sure other people would find other shit. Lone Freighter didn't find any weird shit, but
did Lone Freighter do one or no?
No, I think this beer.
That guy.
I know. I was looking. This beer gets like a 93. I don't see it being. Yeah, I guess a 93. I don't see it being a 93. Maybe a 90, 91. But it's a fantastic beer. They do what they do well.
Mike, while you think about a song, can I share something with you really quickly? The beer I'm drinking right now.
Yeah.
Please.
I this is the first time I've had this. It's a Long Trail, Little
Is that the West
Anomaly.
Coast?
It's Little Anomaly IPA. Have you guys had this before?
No.
I have not had that actually, and I love Long Trail beers.
I'll tell you what. I mean, I know the Long Trail history and I've been there a million times. This is a tasty little treat. It came in like a 15 pack of cans, just to give you some context. Big hop flavors, but a low calorie count. It's 110 calorie beer, but I'm telling you, it's got a little haze, a little hop, and it's got a nice little combo of the things that make you happy. I'm actually going to recommend this bad boy.
I know
Long Trail, Little Anomaly.
I know nobody asked and nobody cares, but
Steve, what are you
Dave
drinking?
shared, I am drinking a classic strawberry whale cake.
Steve loves the strawberry whale cake.
He likes the
one
whale
of
cake
your favorites.
series. Strawberry whale cake is my favorite, but I have actually the number, and it's hand numbered, the number 2 bottle ever.
No way. That's cool.
Yep.
Steve, I'm drinking out of the sorry, you can't see it, the Uncanny Valley glass right now.
I saw Adam had put a picture on the Discord, the SH Discord.
He's got that glass, right?
He doesn't have that one. He has the I can't remember which one he has, but he had put one of his beers in that in his glass.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah, I love it. Those glasses are great.
Mike, we gave you time to think. What's your song for your Steve beer?
This is kind of a long shot here. I'm gonna go Ian Gillian.
I have no idea who that is.
Deep Purple.
Oh, okay, thank you.
But he's not from Deep Purple.
Okay, thank you.
What's the Buzz from Jesus Christ Superstar?
What's the buzz?
Why? Like, give me the why.
The why is that I had a hard time kind of describing this beer. The had a little bit of the orange peel, had a little bit of the lime at the back end. It's a fun beer. I stumbled over my words a little bit. Are you ready, Steve? It's a good question. What's the buzz is also a great question. So, drinking this beer makes me feel like, what's going on with this beer, man? I could have used 4 non-blondes. What's going on?
But that would have been too on point, right?
But they got something going on here. So like, what's Single Cut got going on here? That's, what's the buzz with Single Cut?
Oh, I think
What's
Mike
the buzz? Tell
Mike
me what's happening. What's
the Albany
buzz?
region
Tell
again.
me what's happening?
He's down with the Capital region. Way to go, Mike. Hey, this has been season 4's Hey Mike, what you drinking? And we're excited about that. More to come. Boys, Mike has more important people than us to hang with very shortly. So we're in the closing stages. So
I have a small fundraiser for a small club.
That's right.
That's a giant club in our state.
Close to our hearts. So I think this brings us to closing thoughts, and we got other stuff we can talk about later. I do want to say before we get to that, for our loyal listeners, we got a fun treat coming up for you at the end of August, right? End of August.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll record before then, but we've got the first ever live Wicked Spursy podcast recording. So
the 3 of us live.
we're gonna make it special for you folks, and we're working on the logistics as we speak. But a
I
lot
have
of
to
time.
find, I have to find a video camera that's going to make me look like I'm not so fat.
So we just hang it up in a tree or something like that,
Just
yeah,
put
that's
Vaseline
what
on the
from
lens or something.
Vaseline.
The fisheye lens.
But in the meantime, and until we get to our live recording, Steve, let's go to you. What are your closing thoughts?
I wish you had asked me before we had that conversation, because now all I can think of is Limelight by Rush.
That's funny.
That's what I've got on my mind. No, closing thoughts. Like I said at the beginning, I'm very excited for the season. I'm really looking forward to what's coming on. I really hope we sign a center back, because that is of desperate need. Dave, when you and me are picking Joe Roden as our,
as the keeper,
let's keep him. We've got issues.
We got problems.
So I hope we get one of those guys in. I'm loving what I'm hearing from Ange so far. I'm loving the vibes that I'm seeing around the club, and frankly, I'm really pleased with the community's reception, at least on social media, from what I've seen so far. Everybody also seems to be buying into Ange and willing to give him the shot. I don't really see very many people out there expecting miracles right out the gate. I don't think anybody's expecting a top 4 finish. I don't think anybody's expecting him to, have us competing for the title. And maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like the general consensus among the fan base right now is just let him cook, let him do what he's got to do, as long as he's getting positive results and we're top half of the table come winter time. Like just cut him some slack, give him some leeway, and let's see what we've got on our hands. Because I too am not expecting anything instant, but I think if we're patient with Ange, if we can let the team have the time they need to buy into it, if we can get those center backs to come in and help us out, I think we're going to be in a really good position for the future.
Good stuff, Steve. I like it. How about you, Mike? Closing thoughts.
Ticket prices.
Wow, baby, wow.
So
Dave's alienated.
Dave just
all
lost
of our
every
locals.
single one of our English listeners.
Only the match going fans that
Only the
have
match
game
fans.
day tickets, not season tickets. It's a small group.
Yeah, it is a small group. So I'm gonna talk about ticket prices just for a second. Being an American and being a fan of the Boston Red Sox.
That was the second day. Mike, Dave, Mike.
Mike
He's
Dave,
over time.
Steve, Dave.
Are you moderating this or what?
So here's the deal.
Trying.
Ticket prices. We as Boston Red Sox fans have experienced a rise in ticket prices very, very, very similar to what we are seeing with Tottenham Hotspur right now.
Mm-hmm.
And very, very similar. Like, and I'm not kidding. It is like mirror images of each other. Season tickets going up, season tickets not going up. Because people complained. Single game tickets going up, single game tickets not going up, single game tickets being tiered depending on who you're playing. Like, all of this stuff mirrors what Tottenham Hotspur fans are going through right now. And here's the thing. Whether or not these ticket prices go up or down, the club and the team doesn't care. They don't care. It is a business, and sadly it is a business, and I'm comparing the two teams because of the fact that Red Sox fandom is so closely intertwined with what Tottenham Hotspur is in my mind. We are recipients of in Boston Red Sox land of a number of world championships, and that is because someone came in 20 years ago and invested in this club. And sure, they own Liverpool too, but that was afterwards, after the Red Sox became successful. They invested in this club. They did the statistical analysis to bring in players that were cheap, that were afterthoughts, and they took them, paired them with some crafty veterans, and one or two superstars, and won a world championship, won a World Series, and they hadn't won in 86 years. So they use statistical analysis, the Moneyball system. And at the time, Fenway Park was not selling out. They were trying everything they could to get fans to come in. I remember when I was in college, even with your college ID, you could walk up to the ticket booth and get a ticket on game day, minutes before the game, for $5, and you would get a soda or a beer if you're 21, and a hot dog with it. That's no longer the case. Dave and I are going to see our Jake Berger play against the Red Sox. Hopefully interact with Jake a bit. And it's going to cost us $500 each. It's a fact of life. Here's the thing. When you, as a fan, want your team to build and build and build and get this player and get this player and get this player, players every single day are costing more and more money. If you want your team to succeed, you need those players. You need that money to buy those players. And the easiest way for the club to do that and to get that money is through ticket prices. It is through the match day experience. It's through beer prices. It's through vending prices. It's everything that has to do. Jerseys, yes, kits. We buy the kits. We buy the kits with the names on the back. We shouldn't, because they'll be fucking gone in 2 years. Hoiberg. That all said, that is the cost of having a successful club in this day and age, is ticket prices. They pass it on. It is a business. They pass it on to the consumer, which is us, the fan, who love our team, who love our club. But anything that we want to be nice, you have to pay for. And if you pay for that, if you are willing to use your hard-earned money to pay for that, it's going to eventually pay off in spades. And I know this because I've been a Boston Red Sox fan since I was 7 years old.
And now you're like a million. So
now I'm like a million. And now we have 5 world championships in my life. Four. Sorry.
World in air quotes.
Dude, there's not a team that would be. There's not a team in the world that would, not the Japanese All-Stars or the Cuban All-Stars or the Dominican All-Stars, that would have beat those Red Sox teams. It will pay off eventually.
Mike only picks island countries for that comparison. You notice that?
No, I picked strong. I picked strong baseball countries.
I know, Michael. I know. I'm just teasing you.
But in the end, it will pay off. We have to be patient. We have to be smart about it, and we cannot complain. We cannot complain. If we want to complain about the team not spending money on players, then they won't raise ticket prices on you.
Mike, I agree with you 1,000,000%. And the one thing I would add,
sorry, I was so long-winded and backwards and
all good. The one thing I would add to what you had to say is, and as soon as we think that we are so important that our opinion matters when it relates to that, and we say, well, forget it, then I'm not going to buy those season tickets, or I'm not going to buy beer at the games, or I'm not going to buy that kit. Dude, somebody else will step in and fill your spot. So like, as soon as you think you're so important that the team needs you, they will find a replacement very, very quickly. And that's just a part of fandom, right? Like you support your team, you pick your team, you ride or die with them, you buy the stuff, you support the club and help everything to get better, but you're never going to be bigger than the club. So shut up. So just shut up, right?
Yeah, because the White Sox suck.
Absolutely. They're horrible, but they're still my club.
Yeah, no, they're your club. But because they suck, ticket prices were a little cheaper. If they were the Yankees, we would be paying $1,000 for that weekend.
It's true. And my lovely wife, I can say, hey, I'm buying this jersey because I want my club to get better. Like it's a beautiful ecosystem there that works.
Capitalism. Us Americans really fucking know it, don't we?
We got it backward and forward. I wanted to say this. I want to talk about Delhi for a minute. I read a book a couple of years ago. I forget the name of it, but it was I read it and then I listened to it on audiobook in the car.
I read a book called Are You My Mother?
That was a good one.
Great.
But and maybe that connects to what I'm about to say. This book was about mental health, and it was about the challenges that people face, the invisible challenges that people face. And the basic premise of the book was that you shouldn't ask a person what's wrong with them. You should ask a person what happened to them. And that entire change of approach can inform your perspective about how you can support someone or identify with them or whatever it may be. And so the stuff with Delhi that's come out, just this weekend, and I think we all know that it came out probably not with the timing or in the process that he wanted it to, because he kind of got backed into a corner with it. But it's been really interesting to kind of watch and observe that get talked about. And I love that. I love that athletes are more openly talking about mental health. I love that Black male athletes in particular are more openly talking about mental health. And I think it's really critical that be an open conversation with no stigma or anything like that. But it's fascinating to kind of observe, those dynamics as they've with hindsight, right? With the benefit of hindsight. And so what we know is Delhi went through significant trauma. Right? Significant trauma as a kid. We know that childhood trauma takes a lifetime to manage. It's not something that they get fixed by going to rehab for 6 weeks. It's not something that gets fixed by suppressing it by self-medicated, right? Like it literally takes a lifetime to kind of master and be able to, understand yourself and understand how you interact with others. And I would say it's really fascinating when you look at somebody like Delhi and you look at his professional experience, and I'm applying my educational experience with this, kids that experience trauma, it manifests in different ways in school. It manifests in different ways in work. It manifests in different ways on the football pitch. And when I look at what we now know about how Pochettino approached Delhi and I don't want to say father figure role because I think that trivializes a little bit too much, but he approached Delhi with a visible compassion and care and wanting to know and understand the man and like be there for him type of approach. And we look at how Delhi thrived under him. And then we look at the immediate downward spiral that Delhi entered into when Pochettino left the scene that we can now see after the fact, right? We can now see the Mourinho experience and the Conte experience and what that did to Delhi. It's just another reinforcement of like, you never know what's going on with somebody. And in hindsight, it makes me second think when we see these athletes who were once clicking on all cylinders and then they're not, we tend to just say, well, he's slacking or he's not interested anymore or he's whatever else. We never say
he's lazy.
Yeah, we say he's lazy. We never say, I wonder what's going on with him. Sometimes we'll say, oh, he must have, woman problems or partner problems, right? Like sometimes we'll do that, but we never say, I wonder what's going on with that guy and what's driving, what we're seeing as a performance issue that is not performance related at all. It's life related. And I think the Delhi thing is just an important reminder of that. Like you never know what's going on in between someone's two ears, right? You never know what's going on in their heart. And the fact that Delhi was gutsy enough to put that out there for the world to consume and has seen the level of support and love and affirmation he's gotten is cool. And I think that's a step forward for sport, a step forward for society. And glad to see it. Glad it's our club, glad it's one of our guys who is involved in that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Sweet. That's all we got, boys. That's it. Fun to be back in the saddle again. Let's close it out while Mike goes off and hobnobs with the big timers and go into a fundraiser of sorts. Steve, what would you say as we depart?
Don't be an asshole.
Thanks, Steve. And Mike, how about you? What advice would you give our friends?
The world is tough out there. It's hard to navigate. So I just want to be, I want everybody to be safe out there. So
I like it.
Go out there, walk the world. I can't wait to see number 20 out there again with that little smirk because he knew he got something over on you. So good luck to you, Delhi, and your future endeavors. We love you as a fan base, and come on, you Spurs.
One more thing. I'm feeling fantastic.
Actually,
I like that.
We were looking for coys.
Lucas Moore is not with us anymore, so
yep, close it out.
That's yours now.